So, welcome to the Octane AI community meetup. This is the sixth one that we've done, and we do them every single Wednesday. It's at this exact time. If you're Pacific time, it's 11:30 a.m. If you're Eastern time, it's 2:30. If you're somewhere else in the world, well, it's some other time other than those. But a group of us get together and we basically talk about Octane AI, we talk about quizzes, we talk about zero party data, we talk about Cody's new Tesla and how Jason thinks he can make the horn sound better. We do behind the scenes of how people are building out their quizzes, how you're personalizing maybe your Klaviyo flows or attentive flows or PostScript or something else. And it's just like we try to keep it pretty casual. So during this, if this is your first time, you can feel free to hop in at any moment. If you want to ask a question, you can post it in chat. If you get like really passionate and you want to, hop on video and ask a question on video, like don't be scared to do that. This is like, imagine we're just all hanging out. It's like not too formal. You can feel free to, kind of become a part of this show or meetup or whatever we want to call it. So very flexible. Everybody's kind of welcome to join in. Whole goal is to just learn from each other. So quick agenda. I'm going to give one update on the partner program for Octane AI, which I don't know if all of you know about it, but I think some of you, I know a bunch of you are in it, but other people might be interested in joining. So I'll talk about that a little bit. Do a quick recap of what we did last week, and we have all that content on YouTube. So if you missed it, you can go check it out. And then today we're going to go talk about quiz, ads, email personalization, and we're going to get insights from Sophia, Jason, and Cody, who are all incredible. You should all go follow them on Twitter if you're not following them on Twitter yet. Maybe Ben or somebody else can post their Twitters in there. So you should all go follow them. They just tweet nonstop and everything is pure gold. So I'm really happy and excited that they're going to take some time to talk to us and all of us today. So first up, partner program. So if you don't know, and if you're just getting used to Octane and you're like, this is your first getting to know us, maybe this like doesn't make sense for you yet. But if you already use Octane, or maybe you're like a freelancer, consultant, or an agency, and you're already working on a quiz or email personalization with someone, I just want to let you know, if you didn't know this, that if you refer new merchants to Octane, you can get 20% of whatever they bring. And then we can also connect you with someone on our team who can basically help answer any questions. So if you want to brainstorm like, how the heck should this store like have a quiz, or like what questions should they ask, or like you have some sort of specific questions about running ads or email personalization, you can basically have like a dedicated person for that. And so if you're not signed up for this yet, you can go sign up. I'll post the link in chat here. You can do that now. You can do that later. It has a little question that asks like how you heard about it. If you put in that, you just like write in community, and I'll check after this show and I'll make sure you get approved like really quickly. So that's that. Would love for you to be a part of the partner program. And then last week, we had a great session with Monica and Brandon, and we talked about Monica's brand, which she's bootstrapping, Maria, where she's using a quiz for a health product. It's a single product store, and she uses the quiz for educational purposes. And so it's not about which product is going to get recommended. It's more about helping the customer understand why this product is right for them, what the health benefits are, and kind of catering that to what their specific like scenario is and their specific level of understanding and symptoms. So if you have like a one product store, a quiz can definitely do wonders for you. And this is a great example of how you do that. And then Brandon from Electric Marketing went over Your Super and Florence by Mills, which are two like really large kind of fast growing brands, and talked about how they're doing a really great job in 2xing their conversion rates by having people take a quiz and then personalizing their email flows. And so you can go get the recap of that on our YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/OctaneAI, or just Google Octane AI on YouTube and you'll find it. We have all the episodes. You can watch this episode later, so no need to take notes because you can watch the video right after this. So today we're going to talk about product quizzes, of course, and we're going to specifically go over how different e-commerce operators, and we have Sophia, Cody, and Jason, who are all going to talk about how they're using quizzes in some similar ways and some different ways to increase revenue on their stores, to get email addresses, more contact information, more zero-party data from their customers, and then how they're using it to personalize email. And everybody's basically kind of starting to do this strategy, or has been doing it for a while, where you send ad traffic directly towards your quiz, or the goal of getting them to take your quiz, and so that you can educate people over time, as opposed to trying to squeeze that sale right away. So let's get started. I'm going to bring everybody up first, and then we'll probably kind of go one by one. So let me bring Jason. Here you go. Sophia. Here you go. And then Cody. There you go. All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome. Let's just do, like, everybody probably knows all of you already, but let's just do like quick round of intros. Sophia, maybe let's start with you. I'll call everybody's name out. So Sophia, you go first.
Hey, I'm Sophia. I am an email marketing and SMS specialist, and I work with e-commerce brands that are trying to make the world a better place. So, cruelty-free, sustainable, that's right up my alley, especially if they have a subscription aspect, like their wellness or beauty product. And so that's been fitting in perfectly with these quizzes from Octane. It's been super fun to dive in.
And is there like a specific size of brand you try to work with?
Generally, the brands I'm working with are in the startup stage or they're being bootstrapped. A lot of the brands have only a few employees. And I really like that because I feel like if you start your retention efforts at that stage, it's like it can have a super long-term impact on the growth of their brand overall. So yeah, but I'm definitely not against working with bigger brands, that's for sure.
So if you need a quiz, or you do email personalization as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you need a quiz built, or you need email personalization, Sophia is a great person to go reach out to. Maybe Sophia, you could drop your website in the chat. We'll make sure to put it in the YouTube description too.
Sure.
Jason, go for it from your high rise over there.
Hello, hello. My name is Jason Wan, and I'm the founder of Doe Lashes. We're actually changing our name to Doe. We're actually an eye beauty brand, and a lot of exciting eye products coming out this year. I think one of the first few Octane customers, really, really early on, and firm believer in what you guys were building. And then thankfully we're quite ahead, quite early, it seems like. And I would say like it's been a huge driver for our revenue. I'm happy to show what we're doing today.
Awesome. And then I got Jason and I just saw each other briefly over on a hike, where Jason met my new dog, Cooper, who is this like little tiny white dog. Cody, go for it.
Cool. So, Cody, I'm director of e-commerce at Jones Road Beauty. We are a clean beauty brand founded by Bobby Brown, direct to consumer only, and we're growing super fast. It's our second year, and I'm kind of responsible for a lot of our marketing, all of our performance marketing. So, quiz is a huge focus of ours, just because in the cosmetic space, people are used to buying stuff in person, and we're trying to give our consumers confidence in buying online. So we've got a lot in the works in terms of product launches, and really making a quiz for pretty much every product that you can imagine. So it's a huge focus, and obviously we're building it all on Octane AI.
And Cody, I hear you and your team are in the just kidnapping expert marketers in the e-commerce space. What is the deal with that?
Yeah. No, we're just trying to build a dream team, trying to get amazing people on board, and because that's kind of how you grow. So that's our plan. I'm trying to hire people who are a lot better than me, so I can just sit back and play golf all day.
And so who's your new person, and did they bring a lot of drinks with them?
So our newest is Eli Weiss. So he was director of CX and retention at Olipop, and I don't know if he has a hookup on that anymore. So he's now slinging makeup instead.
Well, his skin's going to be a lot better. So all good. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go one by one, and then so I'll bump some of you down, and we'll talk about what each of you are doing. We'll do like a little bit of show and tell, basically. Sophia, we'll start with you, and then I'll bring everybody up at the end. And I know a bunch of people had questions on Twitter, and then I'm sure people have questions throughout this, and we'll kind of do like a panel at the end where everybody can get a chance to answer the question. So Cody, Jason, I'm going to bump you down for a second.
Cool.
And Sophia, I'll keep you up here. Okay. Okay, so Sophia, so you have been working on this quiz
Yeah.
for Be Happy, and you were posting on Twitter, which is what kind of caught my attention. And you were like, "I love when people do this." You were asking for insights from everybody, like, "Hey, take the quiz. Like, what do you think? You know, we should make. How can we improve it? Like, what do you think about this?" By the way, for anybody else watching, if you're working on a quiz, definitely encourage you to go
Share
post. Yeah,
it.
go post on Twitter that you have a quiz you're working on. Don't be scared. Let people try it early. If you tag Octane AI or you tag me at MattPRD, we will, we'll all retweet it to just get you even more people who can test it out and start giving you feedback. I'm sure everybody who's here in the community would love to give you feedback. So, and then you could come on the show and you could tell everybody, what the heck you're doing. So, Sophia, what I would love to know is, how did the idea for this kind of like, what is Be Happy? And then how did the idea for this quiz come along? Like why did they even want one? Like why did they see the need for that?
Well, first off, Huppy is a sustainable toothpaste brand. So it's like tablets rather than coming in a plastic tube, similar to another brand called Bite. You may have heard of them. And Huppy is a very like fun, like Gen Z like style brand in the way that they approach their customers and their tone. And so I saw that Jones Road had a quiz that did really well for them on TikTok. And I was like, I wonder if I could do this for Huppy or try it. And so I talked to the founders and they were super into it. They're like, why not? Like, let's just try it. And we actually launched it yesterday. So I don't have a lot of like information on if it's performing or not because it literally just launched on TikTok. We're sending TikTok traffic to it. But the idea was like, let's do something fun. Like, maybe we can try down the road doing like personalizations about what they're looking for, like, but let's do that later. Let's do something fun that has like memes in it that's like really cute, that just makes you kind of like giggle, or someone coming from TikTok, it just like elongates the fun experience they're having, because all of their videos on TikTok are very fun and cute and like make you laugh. So that was the thought process behind how we did this particular quiz.
Yeah, I love that. And I know that like quizzes are super engaging. Like if you're gonna
Hmm.
send somebody to a page where nobody's talking to them versus like a quiz where it's like showing them cute gifs and asking questions, you're gonna be a lot more likely to get at the very least, contact information, and then also kind of kick the relationship off. So I'm really interested to see what the stats come out to be.
Me
Um
too.
Definitely want you to come back and talk about that. Would you be down to kind of screen share the quiz and show
Sure.
everybody like what it looks like, and I guess like how long did it take you to build it out on Octane?
Well, I mean, I hadn't used Octane before this quiz, so I was like kind of getting used to the platform, but it was pretty intuitive. So it probably took about like a day or two of just figuring out which questions I want, like the flow of it. But it was pretty quick. Now that I'm used to it, I'm sure it'll be a lot faster. Honestly, the longest part was just mapping out the questions and like making sure the logic made sense. Because when you're starting from scratch for a quiz idea, like there is a lot of copy that goes into it. There's psychology, and so you can't. I mean, unless you're just a genius, like for me, it took a little bit more work and thought into the actual flow of how the quiz worked, and then the emails that came after you submit the quiz. So, yeah, I'm happy to share my screen. I did want to mention that I did ask for feedback and I implemented it, and I'm still open to feedback. If anyone has something where they're like, I think that could be better, please let me know. I'm more than open to it. When I shared this quiz originally, I got like 30 replies, and they were all so helpful, and it made the quiz even better. So I'm sure it could even improve from here. So basically, this is the page they land on. It says, find out which products suit your personality best, and you start the quiz. What people call you, let's say Soph. And then it's which sentence describes you best. For me, I'm going to say, I do love chilling with a book, but I'm going to say I'm open to trying new things, but I'm not an adrenaline junkie. And that question actually does inform quiz results. I'll explain later. Which animal best emulates your aura? This actually doesn't have anything to do with your results, but I think it's adorable. Normally, I feel kind of like a baby lamb, but today I'm going to go happy possum. I'm feeling a little trash possum-y. Favorite color? Let's do rainbow, classic. What do you not like about big box toothpaste? Now we're getting into why are they here? Like, why are they even interested in Hoppy? Um, for me, I just don't really like the plastic packaging, harmful unnecessary ingredients. They can choose multiple options. And what do I look for in a toothpaste? I always want to make sure the products I use personally are cruelty free and vegan. A lot of our customers feel that way as well, but some of them are just like, I don't know, I'm just trying something new. And that's actually, I'm giving myself feedback. Maybe that's something here is like, I don't know, I'm just looking for something new. Then I'll enter my email. With a little magic ball. And then we have our personalized recommendations. So this one says, well, we take you as a charcoal mint kind of person. You keep it all natural. Use code TikTok for 20% off your first order. And then it has the option for a one-time product or a 4-month supply. This quiz results page is still something that could use a little fine tuning. For example, this section says wave or blush. Most people visiting would have no idea what that means, but this is like the color of the case that the toothpaste comes in. It's like a reusable case. So that's something we're working on in the back end of getting, of changing eventually. But right now in this beta format, that's the quiz.
I love it. And getting a bunch of feedback in the chat too. One thing that I'll recommend is it'd be cool if you had some social proof on the results page. I think that could be really cool. So like a review. And one of the things, I don't know if it'll make sense for this because there's not like a super wide variety of products, right?
Yeah, it's mostly just different flavors of tooth tabs, and they do have toothbrushes, floss, things like that, but their main product is the tooth tabs.
Yeah, I think if you had like a review at the bottom underneath the products, that would be super cool. And then one of the things that Lexi Bennett, who's in the chat, has been pushing super hard is the idea of like showing a personalized review based on some sort of data you've collected in the quiz. So I'm not sure which question it would be, but maybe it could be like, I don't know, like what are you looking for in a product type of thing? Like, oh, I love this product because of like this thing that the product does. I think that could be really cool.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, Lexi's always killing it. So I take her feedback very seriously.
Let's see, what else does the chat say? So cute. This question makes me happy. Yeah, I love the like animals question. Tarun, are we able to grab this recording later? Absolutely. It'll be on our YouTube. Jason. So yeah, Jason and I were actually just talking about this the other day where he had a situation where on his quiz for dough, they had removed the skip button like this quiz. So there was no skip button on the email. And what ended up happening is a portion of people would put in their email address or a fake email to like as like a hack to skip it, and it resulted in some people like an increase in emails that were bouncing, which obviously like you want to avoid. So I think what we've seen in some other quizzes is if people really want to skip and they feel really excited about seeing the results, they'll like hack the skip by typing in a fake email, but then that gets you kind of like some like dirty data. So having a skip button might actually be like kind of a nice thing.
Yeah, I do like that.
Chad Ross says, oh, what's up, Chad? He says, is there a recommendation on how many questions a quiz should be? And do you have do you recommend adding skip at the bottom for better click-through rate? Yeah, so skip is good. We definitely think that works well. Is there a recommendation on how many questions a quiz should be? So I'll answer that one. It definitely like varies, and like maybe later others can like chime in on this, but I think it's more about quality of questions and experience than quantity. We've seen quizzes where they can be like 20, 30 questions long and they still do really well. Whereas you can have a quiz with like 5 really bad questions and it does really poorly. I think a good way to think about it is like if you were talking to somebody at a party, it's not necessarily about how long the conversation is that you have like with this person you just met. It's more about the quality of it. And so if your quiz can kind of like replicate that, like there's nothing wrong with having a long, great conversation. You actually would probably walk away from that party feeling like you really built like a deep connection with that person and there's like some trust there. So I'd focus on more quality versus quantity. What else we got? Lexi says 3 Ships has it so you need to enter your email to get the discount. but you can skip just to see your results. Yeah, so that's definitely something other people do where you can skip to get the results, but the email will like unlock that discount. So one thing you could do on this quiz, Sophia, for example, is like the use code TikTok. You could make it so you could skip the email, but tell them that like they need to give the email to get the discount. And then in Octane, you could put some conditions on that like text section to say only show the discount code if they've submitted the email, basically. So it would show or hide based on if they gave the email.
Oh, I love that. That's a great idea.
Cool. And then what are you doing? So you're sending traffic from TikTok for this. So we'll check back in later to see kind of like what the conversions are. And then are you sending the traffic directly from TikTok right to the quiz?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you able to share like what the daily budget is, or?
I'm, I don't work on the paid team, but from what I know, it's only like $100 a day. They're really testing the waters. This is a very like, let's validate and then like optimize from there for them. So I'm hoping that this is a good first try. If not, I'm totally down to try more. But yeah, I think it's definitely a smaller budget to start.
Cool. Yeah, we'll check back in later on those stats and share with everybody. We'll have you back on. And then the data from the quiz, are you using the integration on Octane to send that data instantly over to Klaviyo?
So we're currently on the lowest plan of Octane because of this validation idea. But I do have it set up so if their first source is Octane AI quiz, no, it's not the most perfect solution, but they will get sent the results. And then right now it's just a plain text email from the founder saying, here's your results. Here's the TikTok reminder, discount code, shop all here, for example.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's talk afterwards too, to figure out how to get you up on the plan where you can do some fancy stuff, because with the fancy Klaviyo Octane AI integration, you can like automatically take the product results and then automatically put them at the end of the email. And you can also get a link that you can put in your Klaviyo email that when people click it, they go right back to the results. There's actually some new pricing, which we've been experimenting with specifically for brands who are kind of following this strategy of running ad traffic towards the quiz. And I think what we realize with our pricing is right now, if you go to our website and you look at, the Octane AI pricing, it's all, it can go up based on like the more people who take your quiz, the more expensive the pricing plan becomes. And we actually think that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because you should be able to send as much traffic to your quiz as possible. And you might need to experiment with your ads. And we don't want you to get like penalized if you like are experimenting with the ads. And so we actually have this unreleased, almost like currently secret pricing plan for Octane, where you get unlimited everything. And so if we can talk about that after, if anybody else watching is interested in like trying the ad strategy where you send ads directly to your quiz, which like has a lot of great results. We have a lot of great case studies on it. If you want to try out this unlimited package, definitely like post something in the chat, or hit me up on Twitter and we'll or request a demo, and we'll get that to you. Cool. So is there anything on the email side you want to show, or do you think this is probably good for this update?
Yeah, I think this is good for this update, because ideally we'll have it more built out and be upgraded to the point where we can have those events coming through. The integration looks perfect. I definitely want to try it, but since this is a first, like run through first try, I think this is a good spot to stop, and can't wait to come back with updates later.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophia. And then if anyone else needs a really fun quiz with lots of great animal images, and you also want to try out the strategy, definitely hit Sophia up, because she's the only one on today's show that is here to help you do that type of stuff. So definitely go to her website and go set up a call. Okay, Sophia, I'm going to bump you down, and then Jason, let's bring you up next.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello. Okay, and then Sophia, if you could stop screen sharing as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, here we go. So, Jason, add spotlight. Here we go. Oh, oops, I brought you up and took you down, Jason.
I'm back down.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, there we go. Jason, what's up? I feel like we've known each other for many a decade. I think you said it earlier, and you were absolutely right. You were like one of the very, very first Octane AI customers, and I think like before Apple kind of like broke third party data and they came out with those iOS 14 point 0.5 updates where Facebook and TikTok and everybody else couldn't track pixels anymore, which basically like broke everything. We were talking about zero party data, which is basically like the answers you can get from a quiz, right? Information that people are knowledgeably giving you, not just like you tracking them on your website. You and I spent a lot of time talking about the importance of that, and this was like a while ago, and I feel like nobody else was talking about that at all, and you like got it immediately. Like you were for sure like on the super forefront of it, and I know you were even off like telling other people like, hey, like you're gonna want this data, like this data is gold, like this data is gonna set you apart, like you can't rely on other people's data anymore because it's gonna go away, you got to get it yourself. And then Apple came out with this update, and I feel like even then, right, like early 2021, like people still didn't realize what was going on. They're like, oh, like my ads aren't working as well anymore, but like I don't know why, like what's going on. And I feel like it wasn't until like recently where everybody's starting to understand like even what the term zero party data is, or why it's even important, or like why their ads stop performing as well, and like why it's more important to like do hyper targeting on owned marketing versus like paid marketing. So yeah, like would love if to get kind of like for everybody else here, like an overview from you of like how do you think about quizzes, how do you think about zero party data, like why the heck is this even, like why should you even use Octane?
Yeah. So to preface, I actually used the Octane quiz for a second reason beyond the zero party data thing. Back in the day, I think this is 2 years ago, no one really cared because Facebook was doing so well for most people. They can just launch an ad and they'll just scale to the moon. Um, but I saw it coming because I've been in the space for about 8 years now. I saw that it will get saturated. I saw that the inbox will get less notice unless you make the experience more personalized. Like I just had this feeling that unless we do something to make ourselves stand out and using the proper data to differentiate ourselves and to craft a more unique experience, we're just going to be another brand in another person's inbox. So that was the number one reason why we switched. But the second reason actually was because our AOV is really low. I know Jones Row and Cody, correct me if I'm wrong. Your AOV is $100. Our AOV is 50. We're 50% of your AOV, and so on a pay social perspective, it's very hard for us to survive on a $50 AOV. So my strategy was to send traffic to the quiz page and then remarket to them on email just to bring down our cost per acquisition, because it's a lot easier for people to submit an email and maybe buy than to send them to a product page and bounce back, or to acquire them for a much higher price than what they're spending. So that was the second big reason why we switched to Octane, was to give people a different conversion experience beyond just buying at first time. The third smaller reason is that there is so many lash brands out there. It's one of the easier beauty brands to start. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. The barrier of entry is so low. And so there's so many options for consumers, and we wanted to use a quiz to craft a narrative for us, to show people that we're inviting, we're approachable, and we're very easy for beginners. And that, for people who find putting things on your eyes, the most sensitive part of your face, so intimidating, this is a way for us to educate you and to walk you through and hold your hand through the quiz. So those are like the big reasons why we switch, and been seeing really good results from it. The same theories that I had 2 years ago still holds true today, and it works out even better.
And I guess like right now, I know you've been sending Facebook traffic from ads to your quiz for a bit. Like, Cody came on super strong like a month ago and was like, we're blowing up our quiz with our TikTok ads. But I know you've been doing it for a while, from kind of like the Facebook side. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
I got you. I opened all the tabs already.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. I guess like, yeah, give us an overview of like what the heck are you doing? How are you using the quiz? How do people find it? And then like, what do you do with the data? Like once you get it on the email side, anything you can screen share is, I think people will just like go crazy for it.
Yeah, no, of course, of course. So to preface, we're much, much smaller than Jones Row. So like, what works for us doesn't always work for every brand of different sizes. So like, that's number one thing to know. Like, this is just what we do, based on your AOV, based on your brand, based on how much assets your brand's trust. There's different ways for you to go about this. But for us, we're on the smaller side. So for us, we want to have a good landing page to educate people. And so on the traffic that we sent to from TikTok, which we don't spend a lot on TikTok right now, we haven't really fully cracked it. We've been sending a lot of traffic to these pages through emails, through Instagram, organically on TikTok, and then some Facebook ads. So we sent them to this lander page. I bought this domain called Lashgal to appear like we're an editorial page, because most editorials wouldn't just do this for us. This also gives us the full ring to design this, like it's a review. So we educate people. By the time that they scroll down, they are seeing these CTAs right here, another CTA right here. They click the link and it'll take them to our quiz. And we've been running this for like, I've had this domain for about 1.5 years now. I thought about doing this because we just saw the conversion rate for a straight to our website a lot lower. So we felt that for our brand, especially with the need to educate people more, we had to make a better landing page. This is actually a page that we're launching today. So that's why you guys see like pending draft review. We added a new technology on top of the Octane AI technology. It's custom built. We create this thing called a selfie quiz. So if you guys are on your computer and have your phone out, feel free to scan this QR code. We built a selfie quiz technology where it'll scan your face and it'll measure the distance between your eyes, the size of your eyes, whether your eyes are upturned or downturned. It'll determine the type of eyelets you have, eye shape, and then we feed that data into different quizzes based on what they get on their eye shape, and then we'll recommend them a product based on what their answers are. And we found that we actually saw a 23% increase in AOV when people go through the selfie quiz. We've had this in beta for about 2-3 months now, but we're officially launching it in 2 days actually. So you guys are getting a sneak peek before we launch it. But yeah, so that's something that we're adding on top. We're constantly iterating, we're constantly testing different steps of the funnel to see how do we improve the conversion rate, how do we get more emails out, and we're constantly evaluating like just even like the question, the way that we frame our questions sometimes makes it easier for people to understand and makes it hard or makes it harder. But the trade-off is like you either get more accurate answers or you just get people to complete the form easier. So something for you to test out on your end. We do run ads on Facebook. We don't spend a ton of money on it. This is just on one of the assets for today on the quiz. It's all right. We're not spending a lot for this data to be significant, but in general, it is one of the better performing assets creative that we are running whenever we're running traffic directly to our quiz as opposed to direct to PDP. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll show you our quiz actually, so you can see what the regular quiz looks like. Let's just do every day. I have monoliths, short eyelashes. This question doesn't affect the results at all. We just thought this was like a cool break to ease up the process. I actually did like Fairy Odd Parents, subtle. Thanks for this. I actually thought about putting like a little short testimonial on the loading screen, or we might test that soon. It's just that the loading screen doesn't take too long, so I didn't want to crowd it. Some of the changes that we're making this week is we're actually adding the second pair of lashes up on here and then adding a add all to cart button. But we found that even people that come through our lash quiz page and they find the right pair for them, they don't just buy a pair. They usually buy this and then they'll scroll down to buy this. And then they might go to the cart and add like an extra one if they found that it actually does fit them or they think that it looks good on them. But yeah, all these data feeds into our Klaviyo, and then we will send them segmented emails based on the results that they give us. Pretty standard stuff with you guys. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. I remember looking at the quiz. It's crazy because I remember that's like one of the first quizzes that was built on Octane. It was like right from the get go. And I remember that cartoon question, originally, I think the idea from you and your team was like maybe it would be like kind of like a subtle way to figure out someone's age. I think that was like the original, like back in the day,
Yeah.
the concept was like, oh, if we ask you like what your like favorite cartoon was, maybe we could like pinpoint your age without like directly asking you your age. And I thought that was like pretty cool. Yeah, it's also like nostalgic, like Sophia is saying, which I think is like pretty nice. On the Klaviyo side, like I feel like a lot of people, a lot of brands set up Octane AI, one so they can increase like average order value by recommending not just one product necessarily, but a couple different products, and then backing it up with like a conversation which like builds trust, and you're like explaining like based on what you've told me, like these are the products you should get, so that just increases the chances that someone will buy, and it increases the amount that they'll probably spend, which obviously can help with your return on ad spend in a big way. But the other reason that brands really kind of come to Octane and they're like, oh, we want to add a quiz, is so they can like port all that data into Klaviyo, and then start, if you want to just target people based on their lash preference, or you want to target people based on something else, or like follow up in the emails automatically with like the products that get recommended. What kind of stuff are you doing on the email side with that data? Like, is it augmenting your like welcome series? Do you have like a separate kind of like post quiz flow that's like separate from the welcome series?
We're actually in the process of revamping our email, so some stuff may be turned off. But what we're looking to uh, revamp, and something that we have done already, but we're just redesigning everything, is based on your results. We sent you a different welcome email, so you actually go down a different welcome flow based on what you get on your results page, and also determining on your eye type will recommend you different eye looks from our creators, our UGCs. We match the UGCs to what kind of eye shape they have or eye types, and then we'll only show you those UGCs based on the results that you tell us. Um, Sorry, based on the answers that you tell us. And then we'll also show them like looks based on the lash style that we recommend to you, so that people just aren't getting the same type of email. Like everyone will get emails that are actually pertaining to their interests or to their preferences in some way or form. So that's number one. I saw another thing on the Twitter thread, a reply about like how we should shape reviews based on um, based on what people's eye shape or their results are, and I thought that was brilliant. That's something that I sent to my team for us to start doing. But I think just in general, communication on emails for the longest time has become so spammy because everyone just blasts to their entire list on the same exact concept, same exact angle, same copy. There's virtually nothing new. And so now we're really stepping into this new era where we're able to make the experience a little bit more personalized. We're creating content for these people based on what we know about them, based on the that they tell us. And that's really like in a nutshell what we're doing on Klaviyo. Obviously we can get deeper for it, but I really want to make sure I give enough time for Cody to shine.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Jason, for coming on and showing everything off. We'll bring Cody up now. I'm gonna bump you down, Jason. Bring you up, Cody. And then for everybody else, one, you should read the Klaviyo case study that Klaviyo did on Doe. You can check it out here. I just posted the link. And if it means anything, to all of you, and like this new trend of how brands are just doing everything they can to personalize their emails, and that's where the world is going. You can't target your ads nearly as well anymore and then just make instant sales. You are limited to doing less targeting because Apple blocked advertisers from tracking like almost 1 billion people, and they're like 1 billion of the higher spenders because they have iOS devices. And next year, or very soon, Google's going to be doing the same thing. And so these case studies, you'll notice the top 2 case studies on the Klaviyo kind of case study page are completely 100% about how brands are using Octane AI. And we know that there's others in the pipeline. So definitely go check those out. Cody, your story about how one, you're going and stealing the greatest people in ecom and bringing them on your team. Not stealing, that's not a great word, but recruiting and convincing them to come on board. That's like everywhere. So
Kidnapping,
super, yeah, kidnapping in the dead of night. Super congrats on that. Like super impressive. I think everybody's like really cheering for your team that you're
appreciate
building
that.
over there.
Excited. Thank you.
The second thing is that you've been really like talking a lot about this like Octane AI quiz ad
Yeah,
and like remarketing funnel with like empathy and personalization, and it's been working really well for you. And I know that a lot of people are coming to us and like, oh yeah, seeing what Jones Road Beauty is doing, seeing what Cody is doing, we really want to like copy this like just makes sense, like get to know customers and like personalize what you do, and like your business will grow, like go figure. Last time we were talking to you, you were talking about how you were spending a bunch on TikTok and driving to a landing page, or like a listicle kind of, and then the only way you could go to the site from the listicle was to go take the quiz, and this was like working out really great. You were able to increase AOV by like 50%. I know you've been starting to do more on Facebook, so I think like would just love for you to give everybody who's hearing it for the first time, like what is your overall strategy with your quiz on Jones Road Beauty? Also maybe give people a sense of like how large Jones Road Beauty is in case everybody doesn't know. And then like,
Okay.
what's like the update? Like what's going on? What are you trying now? What are you
For
learning?
sure, definitely, totally cool. So yeah, we're good size 8 figures. I can't really share much more than that, but we're pretty large bootstrap brand, and we use a quiz a ton. I mean, right now we have one quiz. We're actually trying to really revamp a little bit of everything, just about how we do the quizzes, because it's done so amazing for us. I mean, we've made over $10 million just through customers that have taken the quiz, and it's huge. But we're on V1 of it, maybe V2 of it, and I really want to have the best quiz in the world. One of the things is there's not that many direct to consumer beauty brands. A lot of them go retail to gain distribution, but also because they think a lot of customers need to try stuff on in person. And I want to do everything I can to not have to do that. And I think what we have to do is we have to do such a great job of allowing customers to feel confident and having them feel confident in what they're going to buy. So right now we have one quiz. It's kind of like a product finder, shade finder. But what we're going to do is we're going to have one main quiz. That's going to be like a routine finder. It'll probably be a longer quiz. It'll live on our homepage and a little bit more prevalent. And then we're going to have individual quizzes for the products that it makes sense for. So we're launching a foundation. We'll have that. We have a face pencil, which is a concealer. We're going to have a shade finder for that. We've got Miracle Balm as our bestseller. It's like a balm. We're gonna like a tinted balm. We're gonna have one for that we're working on, and that Joanne's working really hard on all of those so that they can live on the PDP. We just updated all of our PDPs. They're converting super well, but on it, we don't have it shown anywhere right now, but we have a section essentially we can toggle on and off a button that has like a find my shade. What we've noticed is like we look in triple whale, like cost per email sign up and like conversion rate to email of the PDPs that do have that quiz on them is much higher. So we're able to obviously collect zero party data, collect emails that way. But so that's kind of our overall plan, even when we're launching like a foundation. A ton of it is good because at our size and at our scale, we just can't possibly keep up with all of the requests that we get in CX. So the better of a job that we can do, allowing our customers to feel comfortable finding the right shade for them is huge. So that's why we're spending a ton of time and resources on that. But specifically talking about ads, right? Because that's kind of what we're working on. We are also working on, before I talk about ads, like the email flows. Right now we have a very limited, very basic flow set up, but we have plans to really, really, really beef that up because again, everything that Jason said is 100% true. And same thing, it's like you can't really target that specifically on Facebook anymore, but you can do that on email all day, and you should be doing it. So it takes a lot of time to set up, but it's 100% worth it. So that's going to be a big focus. But ads, specifically, what we do, right, is a lot of our Facebook traffic goes to a product page, and that's fine. It converts okay. But a lot of our TikTok traffic, we notice that we can send somebody to our product page on Facebook, and they will buy multiple products. So we'll get that AOV up to $90, $100. When we send traffic just to a PDP on TikTok, for whatever reason, I have my theories, they just buy that thing because they're not in shopping mode. They're in entertainment consumption mode. They want it to be quick. They're not going to take the time going around. Like your average site session is a lot shorter on TikTok than it is otherwise. So what we have tested and found to be the best is sending traffic to a quiz, and we like to put a landing page in front of that, so like a listicle or an advertorial, like a 5 reasons why type thing. Then that goes to a quiz, because if you think about it, 95% of the sessions on TikTok, it's not you're following who people that you're following. It's actually the For You page. People are so lazy on TikTok that they're not even choosing who to follow. They're getting all the content served in front of them. And what the quiz does is it really does that for you. It's engaging, but you just pick some images, you pick who you are, and you don't have to go search on the website, find this product and that product. We literally just say, hey, based on what you told me, here are the products for you, add them all to cart. And that's been really, really great for increasing our AOV site wide, on Facebook, but specifically on TikTok. We have definitely cut down TikTok spend right now, just due to honestly creative and just not getting the creative. So we've had some fatigue in there, but we're working on that. We're gonna ramp it up. But specifically, we've been starting to send a lot of our Facebook traffic to the quiz, to the listicle. Few reasons why, but right now we're struggling on Facebook. I think everybody is. There's a lot going on, and I don't have the data yet to kind of show this and prove it. If anybody has it, let me know, or knows the best way to collect it. Matt, maybe you can help with this. But I hypothesize that somebody that takes a quiz has a higher LTV than somebody who doesn't take the quiz. I think there's a few reasons why. First of all, it increases AOV. We do have data that it increases AOV pretty significantly. It increases conversion rate. So those are two benefits to it. I think if you are actually doing a really good job with your quiz and you're recommending the right products for somebody, well, that makes sense that they would want to continue to come back because they've had a good experience. I think that's one reason why it should theoretically improve LTV. Another reason why is what Jason and Matt have talked about with the personalization. You're able to just provide such a better post-purchase customer experience because you're able to communicate with customers in a way that's saying like, hey, I understand you, I get you. You told me you have eye concerns. Here's stuff about eyes. I'm not following up with stuff about lips right away, because that's not what you told me you're interested in. And I think that's super important. And you can do it. The one caveat is like, yes, all these numbers are great, but it's done in a very on brand pro CX way where you're improving your quality. You're kind of, but you're not like stalking people. It's not like, hey, you left something behind. You're just giving them the right message that they already told you that they want. And they have no idea that they're in this quiz funnel and you're emailing them based on that. You're just giving them the information that they really want, just like if they walked into your store and you were helping them in a store. So that's my theory. If anybody has suggestions for how we can actually look at that LTV data and figure that out. But when we're struggling on Facebook, if I'm running two ads and they both have a ROAS of 2, but one I'm running to a PDP and I get emails for $60, and then one I'm running to this quiz funnel with the advertorial and I'm getting emails for $10, like at the same ROAS, I would have to imagine over time, our allowable CPA can go much higher because we know over time these emails and these customers are worth a lot more to us.
Yeah, I think it's the quiz. The way I think about it, and we've talked about this before as well, is I like to think about it in terms of like, what if your website was like a physical retail store, and
Totally.
think about it like in person. And I think it like helps.
That's how I think about it too.
Yeah, like it just helps you like wrap your brain around it a little bit more. And I feel like the old way of marketing, which for some reason people were totally, from a marketing perspective, we're totally cool with, was like, imagine your website was a physical store and like somebody walked in this store and you have people, like, let's say you work at this store. You don't go up and talk to them, right? What you do is like, you're like peering down the aisle as like they're shopping and you're like scurrying around and like they don't know you're there at all. You're just kind of moving around. And then at one point you like pop out and you're like, hey, you should like get this thing. And they're like, what are you, where are you coming from? Like, what are you doing? Like, why do you think I should get this? Like, I've been watching you secretly.
Yeah, that's so funny.
You should go do this. And it's like creepy, right?
For sure, totally.
But then the other thing is like the recommendation that you would give by like sneaking behind them as they walk down the aisles, you're probably getting like a lot of false positive, right? Like you're just because someone looked at something like doesn't mean they like have any sort of intelligence around like that's what they should be getting. Because maybe they don't know which product is right for them. Like they like know they have a problem, but they don't know what's right for them. The new way, which is like if you use a quiz, is like somebody walks in, they're walking around. and they can come up to you and they can like start a conversation. And if you make a quiz that's like really friendly, you can get to know them. Why are you here? What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? Like, oh, like what's your budget? Like, what are you trying to do? Oh, okay, let me take you like to the right aisle. The thing I really like about what you're doing, which is really advanced, I haven't seen anybody else do this yet, is where you're talking about having different quizzes um, linked on different product pages depending on what types of product they are. And I
Yeah.
feel like if I was to imagine that as a physical store, it's kind of like if some like a specialist was like standing near the product or something,
Mhm.
and you walked up to that product and they were there, and they could actually like help you figure out like
Good way to
if
put
this
it.
product
Totally.
is like right for you or not. But it's just virtual and it's infinitely scalable. If you send like 100,000 people to your store today, like this one automated quiz can talk to everybody simultaneously,
For
whereas
sure.
now you're like doing things that are not even like possible in retail. So I think that like makes a ton of sense. And then from like a LTV perspective, yeah, maybe there's something we can figure out there. Maybe a triple whale can figure out.
Yeah, I feel
um
like the easiest way, I don't know if it's possible to like tag them and we're on Shopify Plus and we can tag them in Shopify, anybody who's taking the quiz. And I've also heard like, so I come from like a direct response background. So there's like, if you're familiar with like V-Shred, they run like all their traffic to a quiz funnel. And I think theirs is crap. Like I think everyone gets the same thing for them. But like I've even heard other people do this where like you can kind of create segments or tag people based on what they answer. And then you can kind of like try to say like, oh, people that answer this, maybe it's age, are better customers for us. Like, let's follow with them more versus like, or like maybe people that are interested in face products spend 20% more with us than people that are interested in eyes, you know? And that would be kind of super interesting if that stuff we can, because if we can pull that into, if we can tag them in Shopify, we can then pull that into Triple Whale and run like cohort analysis on that all day.
Okay, let's figure that out. Because I mean, I love to hear that you're seeing early numbers that show that people who take quiz, spend more money. That's what we see across
Totally.
all brands too.
Yeah.
But then also the new stat where Triple Whale is telling you that product pages that have a link to an Octane AI quiz are also like making more revenue than the ones that
Yeah.
don't. That seems super interesting too. We should figure out how to encapsulate that data. So I know we're getting close. Maybe a couple of us can go longer. I'm not going to like cut us off in like 3 minutes, but if you have to hop, I totally understand. Jason, I'm going to bring you up. And then Sophia, I'm going to bring you up as well. If it will let me. Okay, there we go. So we'll just do some like quick Q&A. If anyone in the chat wants to, post a question, we can get to that as well from anybody. But earlier today, I posted on Twitter to see if anyone had any questions, and we definitely had a bunch. Okay, so first question for anybody who wants to jump in. So Connie Sen says, how often, and Lexi asked this question too, how often do you change out the recommended products in your quiz results?
Honestly, we haven't changed ours in like over a year. I mean, it's been working. So we haven't really tried to switch too much. Also, like we have 11 SKUs, so there's not a lot to rotate out of, based on an answer. Like if they select they want subtle lashes, we realistically have 5. But if you have more SKUs, try rotating them. But for me, we haven't done it.
Yeah, I think only we update them when we launch new things, and then I think we are just kind of constantly learning the best way to educate consumers, and even like internally, like how we recommend products is always changing. And so I think as we update that internally, that's when we're kind of updating the quizzes, and that's kind of why we're revamping ours now after like a year of running them.
And then Sophia, you kind of just launched, so probably haven't had a chance to revisit
don't
yet.
really have a chance yet, but I would assume like for other brands that I'm working on quizzes on now, they're launching new products regularly, and that makes sense. Like if we have a new product that we're really excited about, let's add in a question that might make sense to show that product, for example. So yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense. Also in the if you have out of stock products, like make sure that you're checking your quiz and you're not recommending products that they can't even purchase right now.
And also, we're looking on the Octane AI product side into some ways to automatically experiment with switching out some of the products that are on the results page. So more info on that. But I think that, obviously nobody has time to actively do it. So maybe there's a way to automatically do some of that stuff and test it. So we're working on something that can hopefully take that off your plate. Connie also asks, where's the best placement for your quiz? Top of the homepage, navigation, footer, header, ads?
Test it all.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
I feel like it's like asking like, where in the store should your employee work? And you're like, they could go wherever the customer is, basically.
Yeah, definitely tested ads. We don't have ours on like the hero. We have like ours at third down, but it's definitely something I would consider testing on the hero. We have ours in the navigation. We have ours linked. We will have it linked on every PDP. What you can do is you can also, something that we'll do in our like welcome flows, we'll have like a footer at the bottom. And again, even if we don't have this now, it's something we're working on. We'll have a footer at the bottom with like a dynamic show hide. If they haven't taken the quiz, we'll have a footer or some section saying like, take the quiz, find your shade. Especially abandoned cart emails and texts. Because if again, for us, if somebody's coming to a beauty brand and they come to a product page, they're clearly interested, they're showing buyer's intent, but they haven't bought yet. One of the main reasons why is going to be because they don't know the right shade for them. So that's kind of one of our main retargeting things as well.
What is your favorite quiz question?
Probably just the non-related to results type of question, like the cartoons. I'm just curious on what people pick. I know like Matt, you and I, we did at one point have like an entire series based on what cartoons they picked. We sent them a specific email. Those obviously like weren't really meant for revenue driving. They're really just for brand building, but I thought that was a fun email to send.
Yeah, definitely the animals, like, and any quiz that I take, that's fun. Like the doe one stuck out with the cartoons, like something that's just like cute and it feels like it's personal, even though it doesn't have an impact on the results. Like I knew that taking the doe quiz, but I was like, I love saying something about myself. And I think customers love doing that in general.
I don't know if I have a favorite one. Probably the main concern, because that tells you why they're on the site, and that's kind of the most important thing to personalize, you know, your marketing to them.
Cody's like pure revenue. No fun
Guilty. No fun.
He's like, you're over here, you're serious, you're gonna spend a lot of money. We're gonna only ask you serious questions. That question was from Jacob Sappington. So thanks, Jacob. Okay, and I know we're like a little bit over on time. So last question, because you know, we're continuously two questions actually. So because we're just continuously trying to be better at Octane as well. So first question is like, how would you describe Octane to somebody? That's like the first question. And then the second question, and you can get like aggressive here if you want, but what is something that we got to fix or make better on Octane? We also got some of the team members here. So just, you know, anything that's like top of mind. So how would you explain Octane to a store that's never heard about it? And then what's, you know, something that you think we got to make better? Oh, Jason, you're muted.
I'll go.
Oops, I did that thing. I think what you said about employee is such a really a good example. For people who just walk into your store at a mall who don't really know about your brand, the only way for them to really learn more is if someone in the store talk to them. But you obviously can't really have like a live chat support to scale that up on your store. You could, it's very challenging. So the quiz allow us to alleviate a lot of that burden of walking people through, introducing them and educating them, and essentially asking the right questions to find the right product, because people walk into the store with some intent to purchase. Like when they walk and when they come onto your site, there is that intent, like a very small intent. Your quiz is just really trying to take it home with them. I would say like some feature requests. I sent you guys a lot of those, but I would love deeper integrations with like rewards and loyalty programs for Octane. I think these two things ties very closely together. I would love to see Octane Quiz being integrated with like our app. Our app is one of our bigger acquisition channels now, but sometimes it just doesn't really work perfectly within the app. You know, like little small things like that, but like it's nothing that makes me say, oh, I don't want to use Octane anymore. These are just things that will make my life a little bit easier.
Don't scare me, Jason. Okay, cool. We'll get on that. Cody.
All right. So a few problems that all e-commerce stores are facing and are definitely going to face. Facebook costs are going to be way up. Targeting is pretty much non-existent. So you have to go broad at this point, right? Facebook CPMs and costs are way up. So what a few brands have to do just to get over some of those hurdles, you have to make sure your AOV is as high as possible. You have to make sure your LTV is as high as possible. You have to make sure your conversion rate is as high as possible just to combat those costs. And you also have to build your email list as big and as good as possible just to get as much revenue as you can from other sources. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is with a quiz. It allows you to, again, we've talked about it, nearly every quiz I've seen increases AOV, it increases conversion rate. Let's get some data on LTV. I think that would be great for you guys to talk about. And it's the numbers that we are putting on our email list just from the quiz, having people go through it a month is pretty crazy. Like because I'm not doing our email anymore, I haven't looked. And then this week I looked and it's like crazy. Our email list is like pretty much doubled. And I had no idea just by running all of our traffic through there, which is huge. And then biggest feedback that I have that we talked about, number one is the results page. I think that there's a lot more flexibility. I think what I would recommend is being able to kind of do things with different columns. And then just having a little bit better like UX in terms of like where we can put copy and how we describe things. I think what would be really cool, just like how like Builder.io did like some templates with Sharma, if like you got some templates from like some Octane AI users so that like the CSS could be like automatically applied for brands without having to like get their developer to do it. I think that would be cool. And then the other one is also on the results page. If you have like a sliding cart, being able to open that up directly from the results page would be something that would be amazing for us. And I'm sure a lot of other brands.
We are absolutely building things.
Love it. Love to hear it. Can't wait to see it.
Everything you said, we are in the process of building right now. I can definitely tell you that, and everybody on here. And they will be coming out. Every single thing you said, we are working on.
Amazing. Love it.
I love that. We are building things. That is good. I can jump in. Definitely want to echo Jason and Cody for sure. Like it's always been a good idea to get your customers data and like tailor your messaging and strategy towards that zero party or first party data. And I think Doe was actually, ahead of the game just a few years ago doing that before the big Facebook apocalypse that hurt so many brands. And so now it's like, it's always been a good idea, but now it's like you don't really have a choice. I think the brands that are going to be growing and sustainable and like have a long life will have to do things like create quizzes, collect this data, be mindful about how they're using this data, and talk to their customers like real people. And that's a huge proponent of how I approach email and SMS in general, is talk to your customers like real people. Don't even call them customers, like say your people, like these people who are buying from you. Because if you use the data that you're collecting through these quizzes and you use it in a respectful way, then you can create a relationship with a customer. That's way stronger than just bombarding them with Facebook ads, hoping that they purchase, and sending them a shit ton of email campaigns, and just bothering them, just trying to get the sale, right? Like we're trying to have the whole point of LTV is a lifetime with this customer, a longer retention cycle. So that being said, I am new to the Octane program. I'm not a super huge pro. Like I'm building quizzes each week, working on launching them with the brands I work with. But what I need is like a really nice wiki. And you guys are pretty good about your help articles, but I'm always like Googling shit all the time. So building out wikis, how-to articles, that's like the most helpful for someone in my position.
Well, I will also say that that's actually something that we're working on. So I'll ping you afterwards.
Cool.
Because that's not being developed by the engineering team, but it's being worked on by other people. So I will reach out to you after this to get a complete Octane AI related list of your Google search history, and we will make sure that we have for all of the things that you're looking for. Because I definitely agree. There's like a bunch of, if you're like in the spot where you're like, oh, I'm ready to like kind of make the quiz, like there's probably more things that you want to know, and we can organize it better. So definitely work on that. I think the thing that stands out to me is like you had the cookie apocalypse or whatever you want to call it. Apple kind of like nuked everything. Google's going to do the same thing. And you can't get these like quick sells anymore. This like hyper targeting, this like, whatever you want to call it, creepy or not creepy, like just pure behavioral based kind of like personalization. I think the world it's pushed us to, one, it was a little painful because not everybody's making, as much revenue as they were before. But it does feel like a more human, kind of more empathetic, like actually the way you should do business is like get to know people and prioritize over a lifetime. So I feel like it's like a tough shift for people in the beginning, but over the long period, I feel like everyone's going to be the better for it. Like brands will be making more money and customers will be heard and be
For
happier.
sure.
So I'm really excited. I feel like sometimes you can have a marketing tactic that like will work, but it just doesn't feel like in line with everybody's best interest. Whereas this feels like it's actually like good for everybody. We're making the world a better place. That's what we're doing here. Jason, Sophia, Cody, everybody else who's here, thank you so much. This was our 6th Octane AI community meetup. Really appreciate your time, and we're just here to support you and everybody here to kind of go into this really empathetic world and help build these tools. We're making the design tools better. We're gonna have templates. We're gonna have all this stuff. We're gonna make everybody's life easier. We're gonna get the wiki. Keep sending us feedback. We're really hungry for it. Thank you, everybody. Have a really great Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. See you next Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.